Hi, welcome back to Hostbox CS channel and back to computer architecture and organization series. This is a tutorial for who are preparing for BTech and some of the exams. Definitely helpful, even GATE and competitive exam also. Today we are going to see the topic called interrupts in computer organization architecture part 2. The previous session, I hope that you understand. I told about what is interrupts and what are the use of interrupt and interrupts, why interrupts is so important in area of computer organization architecture with real-time examples and followed by interrupt hardware, interrupt latency and difference between subroutine and the ISR, at last followed by the handling multiple devices where disabling and enabling disabling interrupts and polling scheme. So let's continue here. Handling IO devices. Today's session definitely helpful to learn handling multiple devices or IO devices and also have understand about vectored interrupts, controlling device requests, how you control your device request and interrupt nesting and followed by simultaneous requests. At last exceptions, what is exception and what are the use of the types of exceptions including debugging also. So handling multiple devices, last class I told you there will be a erases lot of questions and lot of questions here. So I told you if you want to find the solution, you can go for slowly carry out and improve the knowledge about this polling scheme where we followed by daily basis chain scheme and bus arbitration scheme. Now and also disabling interrupts also. Let's go over here. Handling multiple devices. It may create the following questions now. Which device requesting service? Now, how is appropriate service routine executed in the system? You know that the CPU processor is where you have you can connect multiple devices at a time. IO device 1, IO device 2, IO device and so on. And also how is approximate service routine executed? Then should interrupt nesting should be permitted or not. So one more concept called interrupt nesting, whether the CPU accept this process or not. Then the first question, are poll device status registers checking if IRQ bit for each device set. Remember. Second question, call device specific routine for first set IRQ bit that is encountered here. Let's go for solution. So continue here interrupts. So here let's go for the small diagram where periodic arbitration circuit and processor connect with the interrupt device 1, device 2. Let's assume the device 1, device 2, device 3 and device 4 where having the control line of interrupt 1 and followed by interrupt INT A1, here interrupt P, interrupt P like that. Here first listen, when IO devices are organized into periodic structure, each device has its own interrupt request and interrupt acknowledge line. So here INTA means acknowledge line here. When IO devices were organized in a daisy chain fashion, the devices shared an interrupt request line and the interrupt acknowledge propagated through the devices. A combination of periodic structure and daisy scheme also can be used. If you want, you can refer the playlist and check it out what are the daisy chain scheme and so on. And here the devices are organized two groups. Each group is assigned different priority level. All the devices within a single group share an interrupt request line and are connected to form a daisy chain. So remember, so there are two ways, mainly generally two ways followed to handle the handling multiple devices or IO devices when you come to the concept of interrupts here. Way one is disable interrupts. So active one device and remaining should be disabled, and once active the device 1 is complete the work, then disable the device 1 and give the priority device 2 and device 3 and device 4 and the rest like that. And also way 2 is we can give the high priority to the priority scheme, high priority to the devices. Based on the priority, we can give high priority or low priority, we can assign the work here. So for example, it have low priority, the device number 3 having low priority, it will give the work to it will communicate device 3 and work it. Remaining, whenever device 1 to 2 4 try to communicate with CPU or processor, it is a busy like that. So like that you can use two ways. Way one is disable interrupts, enable only an interrupt and another one is based on the priority scheme you can do it. Like because upcoming slides you can see elaborately more points here. So vectored interrupts. A device requesting an interrupt identifies itself by sending a special code to processor overpass. Remember, vectored interrupts. This is one of the concept here where a device requesting an interrupt identifies itself by sending a special code processor over the bus. So through the bus, it will send a special code. Then the process start executing the ISR. The special code indicates starting address of ISR. Then the special code length ranges from 4 to 8 bits. Remember. Let's see no diagram here. Unfortunately, yes. And the location pointed to by the interrupt devices used to store the starting address of the ISR. The starting address to ISR is called the interrupt vector. So vector interrupt also one of the concept to handle the efficiently handling the multiple IO devices. So when you go for these interrupts, we already told what will happen whenever not use the interrupt and whenever use the interrupt. So remember again, if you go interrupt means deeply means what, in the interrupt definitely help you to improve the performance of the CPU and improve the efficiency of the CPU also, and increase the efficiency. Remember, increase as well as execute the task as soon as possible, fast, within a milliseconds and so on. Here the starting address to ISR is called the interrupt vector, and the processor loads interrupt vector into PC and execute the appropriate ISR. And also when process is ready to receive interrupt vector code, it activates INTA line, that is interrupt acknowledgement line. Then the IO device responds by sending its interrupt vector code and turning off the interrupt signal. The interrupt vector also includes a new value for process status restart. So remember, so whenever first for let's assume that here, see that this diagram only, understand better way here. Whenever device try to communicate with CPU, it get acknowledgement. So after acknowledgement, what happens? The processor, that is called, we can say in networking, request and replay. Here also requesting and replaying, requesting, replaying. So once complete a work, ideally it become 0 position 0 or somewhere stop the operation. Then device 2 again what happen? Generally, if you go interrupts, try to give orderly. Where is in the DC chain schema same. So first device 1, then after complete device 2, and device 3 and device 4. Suppose device 1 not responding, it give priority device 2 and also go to device. Suppose the real time situation, device 3 not performing, it going to give the priority to device 4 and communicate and give the task. What are the task and communication happen? It try to solve the task like that. So that is a way you can use either DC chain scheme or priority structure also. So vector input also same, to have some table, some information, it have code and send to the processor via bus and try to execute the task. Then controlling device request. Here, so whenever you want controlling the device request, there will, let's assume that you have one CPU processor having devices like 5 printer or 6 printer. A common computer is, that means what, real time. So how do you control? Here there will be a keyboard. We have options called hardware options called key N, that is keyboard interrupt enable, and DEN display interrupt enable, and also some keyboard display unit requesting interrupt. There are two independent methods for controlling interrupt requested. In short, you can say IE, capital letter, interrupt enable. At one is device N, another one is, you can see, that is IE bit in a control register determines whether device is allowed to generate an interrupt request or not. Other E bit in a control register determines whether device is allowed to generate interrupt request or not, like that. So let's go for one diagram here. Diagram oriented and small thing. Let's go for clarity. View full screen. Right. So this is a small program code is there. So don't go deeply here. If you go deeply, it will go and touch the entire hardware of the computer architecture, little bit microprocessor also. So here there will be a main program given where this is for and controlling. Okay, remember controlling how. Suppose in the computer processor we are connecting three printers. Tomorrow we are connecting 5 printers. Suppose printer 2 asking to print out, and after that printer 4 asking, or the request may be any order. Okay, printer 1 to 5 in the sequentially, or let them computers try to give priority to the sequentially. Remember, sequentially handling the interrupts on multiple devices. If not possible, they can go other plan, printer 2, printer 4, then printer 1, printer 3, and so on. So there will be a main program followed by the commands move, clear, and bit set to control, like that. So here there will be enable keyboard interrupts and set interrupt enable between the PS, and followed by read operation, move multiple, move byte, return, move multiple, and so on, return from interrupt. This is a code for using interrupts to read a line of characters from a keyboard via the registers in figure, like that. So let's assume the first program only. So based on the interest, it will go and do the operations, either do addition operation or take the printouts or whatever there. It's not much important, just understand. Let's back to here. Here the interrupt nesting. Just now I told you, whenever handling multiple devices or IO devices, we need support of interrupt nesting. Why? Because let's see here, it provides a simple solution for some of the program. That means only one accept it also accept one interrupt at a time, then disable all others. Problem is some interrupts cannot be held too long also. The priority structure having like this. Remember, so interrupt nesting is the one where providing the good solution to So solve or handle the multiple IO devices successfully without some errors and so on. Here the diagram given, priority arbitrary circuit passer where device 1, device 2, device 1. This diagram already we discussed, but this is for implementation of interrupt priority using individual interrupt request and acknowledgement lines. So same, the request response. So when you go interrupt nesting, also what happen? Suppose device 1 communicating means what happen? It won't respond the device 2 and device 3. These are disabled. Remember. And also once device 1 communicated means completed the task, then it give priority to the device 2. So device 1 be disabled and device 3 also disabled. Now device 2 is enabled only OT. Remember, interrupt nesting means what? Only one interrupt at a time to communicate with the processor. What kind of task are doing, whether printed document or typing the user typing the program and save as soft copy or whatever is there. Mainly understand about printer, because everyone know how to use the printer, laser printer, color printer, black and white. You can use many companies in whatever is the hardware components and so on. So acknowledgement is the same. So it's the way how to use the interrupt nesting, and also some points given here. A multiple priority scheme is implemented by using separate INTR and INTR lines for each device here. And also priority level of process is the priority of program that is currently being executed. Processor accept interrupts only from the devices that have higher priority than its own. Here also you try to follow the higher priority scheme, where which device having highest priority. So for example, you have device 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The device 4 having highest priority 10 means it give priority to the 10 only. Then device 2 having priority number of 8 means it gives the importance to the device 2, like that. And at the time of execution of ISR for some device, priority of process is raised to that of the device. Thus interrupts from devices at the same level of priority are lower or disabled here. So easy and simple. Then privileged instructions. Here the process priority is encoded in a few bits of PS word, that is process status. And also encoded bits are changed by privileged instruction that write into PS. Then that is process status. And privileged instructions can be executed only while processor is running in the supervisor mode. And also processor is in supervisor mode only when executing operating system routine. And privileged exception. What is this one? These are user program cannot be accidentally or intentionally change the priority of the processor and disturb the system operation. An attempt to execute privileged instruction while in user mode leads to a privileged expression. So here privileged instruction, what there will be a process priority is already encoded with the help of PS word, process register. We can't go and change anything. And also privileged exception, that means what? User program cannot accidentally or instantly change the priority of the processor and disturb the system operation. So as a user you can't go do the hardware settings, or you can't change the hardware or some program settings and do any manner of you like that, as you like that. So whatever the system allocated, based on the allocation and priority scheme only, the interrupt handle the multiple devices, the real time. Then simultaneous request. Here the process must have mechanism to decide which request to service and when multiple requests arrive. Here here again here. So just just have the same example here, understanding purpose. Here there will be a, you can again refer the daisy chain scheme for better understanding. And one more diagram I am given here, almost same. Here processor where you have device 1, device 2, device 3. Oh, now let's assume that for real time exam I am saying don't write it. Let's assume that you have browsing center where one computer having connected with 4 printers. So suppose you are giving you want to take 100 pages printout. So what you have means you have a printer called HP laser and so on. So the printer 1, printer 2, printer 3, printer 4 are working at a condition are in good condition. So you are dividing the documents into 25. That's called multi-program. Why? Because you want to save the time. If you take 100 pages continuously, take more than 10 minutes means if you share the workload, what happen? You take just 2 minutes and try to execute the fast. They take the hard copy the printer very fast. So what happen? Device 1 can give the 25 pages and device 2 can give another 25 pages, that is page number 26 to 50, and device 3 you can give page number 51 to 75. At last device 4 you can give 76 to 100. Now in the computer, just to go and click the connection in the hardware part, just to you click print, your job is over. But how computer will handle now? So whether give priority to printer 1 or printer 2 and printer 3 and 4. But don't worry, when I go practically try to execute this one, it give priority some automatically and execute the try to give some simultaneously. Today computers are so super fast and go on. So it try to work at a time. Possible two computers at a two printers at a time, or other two printers are waiting for command, or else another three printers at a time. It try to give take the printers simultaneously. So if you want to do like this, what happen means you have to know these points. And here when several devices raise an interrupt request, INTR line is activated now. So processor responds by setting INTR line to 1. The signal is received by device 1 and device 1 passes signal onto the device 2 only if it does not require any service. So if device 1 has pending request for interrupt, the device 1 blocks INTR signal and proceeds to put its identifying code on data lines. Device that is electrically closest to processor has highest priority. Advantage it requires fewer wires than the individual connections. So let's assume that you have processor, computer, CPU like that. You have printer 1, printer 2, printer 3. So now what happens means when a simultaneous request come even the 3, but computer CPU what happens, try to choose among the which one is the nearest one, or it's based on the priority. So printer 1 is, so it will try to solve. Just continue the example. So print, then you try to print page number 1 to 25. After that one it go the printer 2 and print the works what are given 26 to 50 like that. But unfortunately the printer 1 not responding properly, don't want any service, it go to printer 2 and print from directly page number 26 to 50, and simultaneously after that it go to the printer 3 and last printer 4 and so on. So like that you can handle multiple devices with computers very easily with the help of interrupts. Without interrupts not possible. Remember these areas definitely get question for exams, especially vector input, or they will give a case study question. Assume that a computer processor have like that, just diagram only. Diagram is important. After if you understand this daisy chain scheme, you can, or polling scheme, and enable disabling, can answer well. Let's go for next topic here, continuation. That is exceptions. So you may study this question exception in Java and some other various, but according to computer organization also we have to study. Here generally interrupts caused by interrupt requests sent to the by IO devices. So exception is what? Interrupt caused by, that means stopped by interrupt request sent by IO devices. Here interrupts could be used in many other situations where the execution of one program need to be suspended and execution of another program needs to be started. And in general the term exception is what is my exception here is used to refer to any event that causes an interruption. So exception means what? Refer to any event that causes an interruption and temporarily break the work like that. Then interrupt request from IO devices is one of type of an exception. Now there are three types of exceptions available. One is called recovery from errors, another one called debugging, another one is a privilege exception. So some of the university questions they ask minimum 2 mark or 4 mark questions in this area. Please prepare well. So they ask us write a notes about debugging and privilege exception also, or compare recovery from compare exception and interrupts like that also. You should be ready to answer. So let's see one by one what are the types of exceptions and what is the use like that. First one, recovery from errors. That means what? Here these are techniques to ensure that all hardware commands are operating properly or not. For example, you can say many computers include ECC in memory, which allows detection of errors in stored data. So you know in the computer huge instructions followed by each instruction, lot of data will be there, and also having error checking code as well as exception service routine also. And if an error occurs, control hardware detects the errors and inform process by raising an interrupt. When exception processing initiated, processor suspends program being executed and start an ESR. This routine takes appropriate action to recover from the error. So let's say practical example, recovery from errors. What happens means, unfortunately you are in the working the lab, there will be 90 computers. For example, you are going the computer number 88 and login try to use the system. Unfortunately you are getting some hardware problem happened. What happened? You will get the screenshot here. That means some hardware error like that. So if for example you are going to open the web or browser something, so what happened? You are unable to solve means you can get the help of system admin and solve it. So like that some error checking code will be there. It may support by try to automatically predict the errors in advance, not interpreting after starting the work like that. Or else suppose you are connecting the printer is not supporting means you could go and check the settings, what kind of exception error coming like that. You can solve it yourself also. possible. The next for debugging. So debugging is what is used to find errors in a program and uses exceptions to provide two important facilities. One is called trace, another called breakpoints. So debugger is the one always used to find errors. So many of the people are computer science today. So SEMA computer science engineering. So whenever you have any problem in the computer, what happen means we have option called debugging, troubleshooting and debugging. Troubleshooting directly go for hardware, but debugging many of them debugging can do. For example, the C program, what is debugging must find the error. You have 4-line coding, second line error is what kind of error. So I can try to find and improve knowledge. Debugging is what? Just to find the errors in the program. So here also we are going to see not only software, we are going to see about hardware also. So trace means what? First one, trace, where when a processor is operating in the trace mode, an exception occurs after execution of every instructions. Then debugging program enable user to examine contents of registers, memory locations and so on. On return from the debugging program, next instruction in program being debugged is executed and the debugging programs activate again. The trace exception is disabled during the execution of debugging program. So debugging, we have two methods. Either trace will be worked out in the system or backside of the computer, or you can breakpoints will be worked out. So just trace, just identifying some errors in advance. Then breakpoints. Here the program being debugged is interrupted by only at specific points selected by user. An instruction called trap or software interrupt is usually provided by this purpose. Remember, when program is executed and reaches breakpoint, the user can examine memory and register contents. Breakpoints is what? This is one of the special error or debugging where some particular situations. For example, in the computer you are going to use PDF. So whenever the particular computer 88 something you are using, the PDF is not opening. So that's there you will get some different software error. So that time you can call a system admin or a programmer to solve it like that. That is called breakpoint. It happens sometime, but trace is the one commonly followed in most of the system. It may happen whenever you open the software or installing also. Whenever try to install or download also, you may get trace error. It will give some hardware failure or whatever they try to notice in showing the desktop in advance. Then privilege exception. Here, to protect operating system from being corrupted by user programs, privilege instructions are executed only while the processor in supervisor mode. For example, when processor runs in user mode, remember, it will not execute instructions that change priority of the processor. I already told you, so priority processor we can't change anything. By default, it will take it. System take everything, and attempt to execute privileged instruction will produce a privilege exception. As a result, processor switches to supervisor mode and begins execute an appropriate routine in OS. So these kind of, let's say the practical example, don't write for the examinations. These are the things where you can do. So for example, you are going to install a new software in the computer. So what happens means that software having some problem and also not supported by your computer means that time you get privilege exception, or by default the software going to create some issues for the computer, unknown source. Example, you can say unknown source, that means creating the virus or some other problem, trouble or some problem, or else space problem also. Sometimes the software size of the software is 8 GB or something, your RAM is 5 GB, what happen, you get storage space issues. So like that, or else whenever without admin permission we are trying to install means you will get error. It will happen with the help of privilege exception only. So you will try to protect the computer when you have some problems. And also as here the process switches to the supervisor mode and begins to execute an appropriate routine in OS. But same time when you do other operations to support it. So particular operation you try to ban and give notification for you and do it. Okay, I hope that you understand how to handle the multiple devices are handled with the help of interrupts followed by the vectored interrupt and also interrupt nested interrupt or interrupt nesting, at last exceptions also. Types of exceptions like recovery from errors, debugging, at last privilege exception. Next session definitely explain the DMA, processor example kind of DMA, direct memory access and so on. Thank you for watching this video. Please stay connected with the Hostbug CS channel, and any queries or any command you can follow us in the social media. Thank you.